Alright guys, welcome back. This should be the fifth and final video discussing object-oriented programming inside of Roblox Studio. I thought I was going to do that last time, but it looks like I think I need just one more video to discuss a very important feature that you should be using in Roblox Studio in all of your games. It's a very, very essential feature, and that is going to be collection service. And I'm going to show you essentially, how you can integrate object-oriented programming and collection service to code like a pro. And in the last video I kind of showed you an example of one class and how you could make like one class, but now I'm going to show you how you can integrate several and pretty much just have like total control over most things, and also have your code base organized completely on this server, which is super important because although this is great doing stuff like adding a part and then creating a script under this part and doing scripts here, I think this is great for beginners. But if you're watching this video, I assume you want to learn how to code like a real developer and not like a child. So let's go ahead and look how to do this for real. So I'm just going to go ahead and create my classes folder again. I always like having just a folder called classes. I still think I'm spelling this wrong. I don't even know how to spell classes today. What a day it's been. I'm not tired. Alright, let's go ahead and create a module script. And I'm just going to create two just quick things here. I'm going to call this fade block class. And then we'll create a fade block class. Will be this. So fade block class. And then as well here we'll have a kill block class. Okay. Alright, and then let's go ahead and just copy this. Actually, I'm going to do the setup first. So we're going to do a fade block class dot underscore index. Just going to return the fade block class, and then we're going to go ahead and do function fade block class dot new. Let's see, end. Alright, and then we're going to have local self here is equal to set meta table, empty table, and then the fade block class. Alright, cool. Your traditional object-oriented setup in Roblox Studio is this right here. Oh, one more thing here, return self. Okay, alright, so there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to create another class. Actually, we can probably just duplicate this and call this kill block class. Kill block class. Or actually, even better yet, for later you'll see why this is cool. But we'll call this damage block class. Damage. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and come on over here. Now we're going to change all of these fades. And again, this is why you should be in VS Code, because I don't think, yeah, you can't change all of these at the same time in Studio, which is pretty important, or pretty good thing about VS Code. Not so great thing about Roblox Studio is that I have to do this where I could just change all of these in one click in VS Code, but that's okay. Alright, so let's say I have a pretty traditional setup like this, and let's go ahead and declare what my variables are going to be. So let's see, a damage block class should have like a damage variable, so damage, and we'll set this equal to, I don't know, let's call the base value 100, and we'll probably have like a damage timer. Set this to 1, so like how fast it damages you based on the touch. Let's think as well, humanoid or humanoid to kill. We'll put here humanoid. Okay. Alright, I can get crazy into this, and we'll actually create a kill function. So we'll go ahead and create kill here, and we'll set this equal to a function, which will pass a touched parameter. Actually, let's program this into the touch events. I will put it here. You can also do things like color and all of that kind of stuff here as well, but that will be inherited by the part. So, but you could also do like anchored, for example. Well, actually, we'll just do anchored here. We'll set this to true as a default, and put a comma here. All right, we'll just leave that like it is because I don't want to get too in the weeds here and creating all the properties of this. But now you'll have all of this stuff here available, So we'll go ahead and actually one more thing. Yeah, we'll instance, or actually no, we won't instance a new part. You'll actually see how this works here in a second. I'm actually going to pass a part here, and you'll see how this works. But essentially, let's actually I'll instance it for IntelliSense reasons only, meaning autofill reasons. So we'll do self dot part or kill block is equal to an instance dot new, and then we'll call this a part. Okay. All right, now I can go ahead and do our standard program that you probably all have seen before, which is self.killblock.touched. We're going to go ahead and connect an anonymous callback function. This callback function is going to pass the touched variable, which represents the part that touched the kill block, and then we're going to go ahead and do local humanoid humanoid to kill is going to be touched dot parents colon find first child, and then here we're going to do the damage block class dot humanoid to kill, and then we're going to do if humanoid to kill, then we'll do humanoid to kill colon take damage, and here we'll pass the damage amounts of the kill block class, which right now is 100, and we'll go ahead and do a debounce timer. So we'll go ahead and create just a local debounce timer here. So this will be a private variable. Private meaning you can't access it anywhere else. DEBOUNCE. We'll set this to true. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and do touched if humanoid to kill, then local debounce. Or debounce is false. Okay, and then we'll go if humanoid to kill and debounce. So debounce has to be true to pass this check. Then debounce will be false here, and then they'll damage the person. And then we'll do task dot wait, and we'll go ahead and pass the damage timer, damage or self dot damage timer, and then we'll go ahead and set debounce back to true. Cool. All right, pretty standard object-oriented programming setup for a kill block here. And again, you could pass like the color and a whole bunch of other variables up here, and then include your functionality here with the anonymous function. So when I call a kill block.new, it'll return this, and you could also create a whole bunch of other functions in here. And another thing you could also do here as well is clean this up with made, but I'm not going to worry about that today. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and come here to server script storage and call this init or initialize init, init. All right, so let's go ahead and look at collection service. So let's say I have a block here, right? And here is my block, and I'm going to name this kill block. BLOCK. All right, so I have a kill block here. What I can do is I can come here to plugins, and I can go to this tag window here. If you don't have this plugin installed, all you have to do here is go to the toolbox, and you'll come here to plugins, and you'll type in tag editor, and it's going to be this one right here. Okay, and the way this works is when you click on this plugin, it's going to pull up a list of all the tags you have in the game. So I'm going to call this actually damage block, like that. So damage block, I spelled that correctly, I'm pretty sure. Yes, cool. Now, all you have to do to tag this is a damage block. Watch this very carefully. You're going to click on the block. You're going to click this box here until the check mark shows up, and then you're going to click off the screen. It's now been officially tagged. So let's look in here. When I click tagged instances, I can see that it's been tagged, and I can use this world view editor, and it'll actually outline and show me that it's been tagged here. Why is this important? Let's go back to our init file. I can now grab that specific instance. So I can now go ahead and go local collection service here is game colon get service colon, and then we're going to grab collection service right there. Okay, and I'm also going to go ahead and create a function main here, main, and this will be my init function, which you'll see in a second. And I'm going to go ahead and create local function here, and you could do this in a module script if you wanted to, but I'll just init it here, and we'll call this make damage blocks. There should be Pascal case make damage blocks here, and we'll go ahead and do parentheses and do an end, and we'll call this here, and then damage blocks make damage blocks will get passed here in our main, and then we'll call main at the start of the game right down there. Alright, so here now what I can do is I can actually get a list of the damage blocks in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and go damage, local damage, DAM damage blocks here equals to collection service. So essentially this is going to give me access to all the tags here, and that's what collection service does. It's a tagging service that allows you to tag specific items and then run them through classes. This is what makes collection service so amazing. So I can go collection service, get tagged is the method that collection service offers. So it's get tagged. Get tagged is going to take it's going to pass the instances here, and it's going to return the array of everything in the game, right? Self here is passed in collection service, you don't have to worry about that, but then you have the tag string here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the string here, which I think we named it kill blocks, or was it damage? Damage blocks. So damage, DAM, damage, block. Just like that. Damage, DAM, AGE, block. This now will return an entire list of all the blocks that have been tagged. Now, all I have to do is require my kill block class, so I'll go ahead and do local kill block class is equal to require, and this will be game dot server storage dot classes dot kill block class, or damage block class, whoops, probably be named better, damage block class. Okay, and now I can do my traditional for loop through a table. So that's for underscore comma damage block in pairs damage blocks do, and then all I'll do here is damage block class dot new, and then I'm going to pass the damage block object. Oh, this should be capital. Damage block. Boom. DAMAGE. Damage block. DAMAGE here. My bad on the spelling, guys. As you can see, I'm not the best speller. So what is this going to do? Let's go back over here. This is going to grab all of the damage blocks here. And now all I have to do here is make a part variable. This is going to be what's passed. So it's just going to pass a part, and essentially everything about this thing is now going to become that. So I have self dot kill block is this part, and then I can do self dot kill block dot anchored is going to be equal to self dot anchored. So now I have access to all of the properties of kill block, right? Again, this is what makes this so awesome, is you have access to all of those properties, and you've extended what a block is. This is now a kill block, so you've taken a normal part and you've extended it, right? And that's what makes this really, really awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all, and we can actually change the color here as well. So I'll create a variable here called color, and we'll set this, or yeah, it is going to be equal to a color3.new, and we'll go ahead and make this red so you guys can see this in action. And then all you have to do here is do self.killblock.color is going to be equal to self.color. Boom. And then there's our function, and you can give this the ability to move. You can give it anything you want. When it moves, it flies, right? You can make it move. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. You can configure this damage timer, so like it damages you over time. You can change the humanoid object here, and what's great is you can actually change all of that in this init. So let's say this is maybe like one damage block class, right? But now you can go ahead and say like local damage, local block here, and now here you can initialize all more properties about your damage block. So you can do also damage block, and you have access to everything. So if you wanted to change the damage timer, the damage, all of that stuff is configurable right here, right? And then you also have access to your part that you're passing, which is your damage block. So you also have access to all of that stuff as well. And you'll also have access to that in the table by going blocks, that it's kill block, and then this is passing a kill block, so you'd have to type it there. You wouldn't get IntelliSense, but you have so much access to so much stuff. Now, when I run this game, if I did everything correctly, which I believe I did, it inits into a kill block. Again, object-oriented programming in action. And this is what makes object-oriented programming so phenomenal. It just makes it ridiculously good, because now my code base is organized all in one place. This is how you use object-oriented programming for real, right? Not in like a theoretical sense. Let me go ahead and move that kill block over. Is now I can tag this, and again, you can give this all the functionality in the world if you wanted to, right? There's so much functionality you could give this kill block, right? And I'll show you guys an example here in a second. So let's see, it's down there. So right now, it's a little, it's too far down. Let's see. Right, let's bring this back up. Bring it like right there. Boom. As you can see, I've extended it, and I typed no code there. Now, what makes this awesome is now all I have to do is, let's say I don't want it to kill me, right? All I have to do here is make this 1 and make this damage timer 5. And you also have access to that in your tagging or your init file if you wanted to as well. You could change the block here, and you could change all of that here as well, since all of that information is public. You can also change the humanoid you wanted to kill. So if you wanted to kill like an enemy humanoid, for example, you could change all of that there as well, right? And you could use all of this here. You could even have a function that just passes the damage block and makes the kill block exactly how you want it, right? So I think I've changed this now. Yep, so you have a different damage timer and a different damage. So this won't kill me, this will just slowly damage me over time. So if you wanted, for example, like a slow hitting kill block, you could do it that way, right? So now, if I can jump on this kill block. Give me a second, guys. As you can see here, is it working? What happened? Did I make a mistake? Damage is 1. Oh, did I make a mistake here? No. Is this doing damage? Uh-oh. It's not. Not sure why. That's okay. I'll look at it here in a second. But the idea still stands that you can take this block here now and you can change it into essentially whatever you would want this to be. Did this init? Damage block. I think I may have messed something up when I was messing around here. 10. Let's just make this 10. Oh, debounce. It gets touched. This goes to true to false. That does the damage. And you have the damage timer here. Should wait 5 seconds, but we'll just do 1 for now so you guys can see. I think it just needed 5 seconds to init, actually, now that I think about it. Let's see here. Humanoid to kill, touched, blah, 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 blah. Set meta table. Oh, this is fade block. We'll come back to that in a second. I think everything should work. Let's try. Pretty sure. See, it's red. It's the right color. There we go. As you can see, it's damaging over time. Yeah, so it was just the damage amount. I think it was just too small, right? But again, this is a great example of how you could create a block that is like a kill block, but now it's a damage block, and you have all of this customization. The same way you have over a part, you have now over this. So let's go ahead and see a great example of that with a traditional fade block class. So come in here, let's go ahead and create our fade variables. So here I like to have a cooldown. Cooldown is equal to, I don't know, we'll do 3 here, and then you can have fade speed here, and we'll do this at 0.05. You'll see how that works in a second. As well, we'll have anchored here, and RED, and we'll set that to true, and we'll go ahead and just do that. I think that should be good. You could also add a humanoid. Again, you guys can add 1,000,001 things here, right? That's not what I'm trying to do here. Just trying to show you guys how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and do now self dot fade block is equal to an instance dot new parts here, and then I'm going to go ahead and do backspace here, and we're going to come here and we're going to do self dot touched, or we're going to do self dot fade block dot anchored is going to be equal to self dot anchored, and we're going to go ahead and set the self dot can collide, or self dot fade block dot can collide to be true here. Okay, and there we go. Now we can do our self dot fade block dot touched here. We're going to go ahead and connect a function, which will again pass our touched part here, and we're going to go ahead and create a variable here called debounce. You could also use tick for this instead of using task.wait. Nothing wrong with that. But something I may have breezed over here, and I'm just going to talk about it for a second, is I don't have access to this debounce variable here because I didn't put it in the self container, right? So these are all in the table self because I use dot notation to declare that. But this would be considered a private variable because I didn't put it in the self container. And I want this to be private because I don't want anybody to mess with debounce in their own coding. And again, this is a great example of abstraction where I have access to this, but anybody using this class has no access to this. Great example of private and abstraction there. Okay, all right, so we have the touched. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do local humanoid is going to be equal to touched dot parents colon find first child, and then here I'm just going to type in humanoid, humanoid, although you could make this humanoid to fade here as well if you wanted to. And if that happens, so if it's a humanoid touching the block, then, and we're also going to pass debounce as well, if humanoid and debounce, then we're going to go ahead and say debounce is false. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and do our for loop. So we're going to do for count equal 1 comma to 10 do self dot fade block dot transparency is equal to self dot fade block dot transparency plus what is it, self dot fade block dot transparency equals self dot fade block dot transparency, or excuse me, is equal to, what's my bad, count divided by 10. There we go. So essentially the way this works is every iteration of this, you would have 1 over 10, 2 over 10, 3 over 10, 4 over 10, every iteration of this. Okay, and then you're going to have a task dot wait here, and this task dot wait is going to take the self dot fade speed. So if you want this to fade faster, you're actually going to make this number smaller. And actually, maybe that's a little unintuitive. I wonder if we could create a direct relationship here, but that's okay. We can change this later. But essentially, the smaller this number, or the larger this number, or smaller this number is, the quicker this fades. Actually, there's a better way to do this. Let me do it this way, so it's a little bit easier to understand. Let's put the fade speed here. Here, and then we'll do self.fade speed. So I guess it's also kind of unintuitive because the larger that number gets, the slower it fades. Kind of doesn't solve the problem. That's okay. We're actually just gonna do that instead. Never mind. We'll keep it that way. Okay, so but essentially the smaller this number gets, the faster it fades. So it's going to make this fade over time, and then you're going to do this self dot fade block dot can collide is equal to false. Then you're going to go ahead and do task dot wait self dot cooldown, and then you'll go ahead and do self dot fade block dot transparency is equal to 0, so it's not transparent anymore, and then you'll do self dot fade block dot can collide is equal to true. And look at that. You have it. And then after all of that is satisfied, you are going to set your debounce, your private debounce variable, back to true. And there you have it, folks. Here is a very typical and standard fade block class that is very, very, very reusable. So let's go ahead and look at this. I'm going to again pass part here and get rid of this instance new parts. I just use that for IntelliSense purposes because I know I'm going to pass a part to this class. Okay, now if I go back to my init file, what I can now do is I can come here and I can duplicate a block and I can change its color to like something different. We'll make it blue so you guys can see the difference here. And I'll go ahead and duplicate it again and create like a green block, I guess. I'll bring these up so you guys can see a little bit better. There we go, we'll make this green. So now what I can do is, again, using this tagging service, I can make a fast fade block. Oh, I don't know what caps lock is on. Let's try this again. Fast fade block. Boom. And then medium. M-E-D-I-U-M fade block. Boom. Okay. So now I can come here and I click on this. We'll make this the fast fade block. And then we'll come here, we'll click on this, and this will be our medium fade block. And as you can see, it's tagged, so it works correctly. So now I'm going to drag all these up so we kind of have them in a line here so you can see. And what's also great is that this is very dry. So if I start duplicating this and start moving this out, maybe I want to make a spleef game, for example. Right, it's all going to be tagged, and it's all the source code is stored in one place. Yet again, all your source code is stored in one place. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab those tags. So it's fast fade block and then medium fade block. So you could make this all just a function. Again, all this code, I am going to copy and paste this, but you could make this all like a function, which I do recommend. And there is a tagging service module in the toolbox. But just for now, because I want to keep this video short, I'm just going to copy and paste this. What I'm doing right now, I don't recommend. I recommend you make this a function and then call that function to tag things correctly, right? There's a way to do that, but I'm not going to do that right now. But anyways, you could do now make fast fade blocks, and then you can call this local function into your init file here. So this inits the game, right? This is your main thread that inits everything. And then you're going to have fast fade block here. Fast fade block. Okay. And you're gonna have your fade block class. Yeah, fade block class. And we're gonna keep this capitalized. This will be fade FA block class. Boom. And we'll come here, copy this, place this here, fade block class, and then we'll come here and do our fade block class. Boom. Looks good to me. And then we're going to call this our fade block, and our fade blocks. Okay, and you're going to come here and make a new fade block right there. And again, I'll show you guys how you can have kind of like full customization over this here. Now that you've kind of created your own fade block class. So now you have your fast fade block. And let's go ahead and see here. So this makes the fast fade block. And then again, you can copy all this here, bring it down. And I'm actually, yeah, keep it fade block here and make medium here. So medium fade block, make medium fade blocks. And I'm going to call this here into the thread. Boom. And then this is medium fade block. Boom. Okay. Now, I can come here and do all the stuff. So I can do block dot fade speed, and we'll set this to 0.1. So twice the speed. And I think that should make it medium for the most part. You know, and again, you would have access to color and all of that stuff. But here is how I can create the object to have different attributes. So now when it's knitted, it will have a different or a slower fade speed than this guy, which has a pretty quick fade speed of 0.05. And again, I could come back to my init file and change this. So now I could come here and do block. Let's say I wanted this to fade really fast. I could do, block dot fade speed, or not that, block dot fade speed is equal to 0.03. I don't know, right? That's going to be like ridiculously fast. Okay, now I come back here, and as you can see, I could create like a little sleep game now if I wanted. Come here, change this to red or maroon. I think I picked maroon. Yep. And then boom, boom, and then duplicates. Come over here, make this blue, make this blue. No allow team change on touch. No allow team change on touch. And then maroon and navy blue. Team, make this maroon, and then navy blue, and then auto assignable is correct, and we'll go and call this blue, and call this red. And actually, all you need to do to make this a sleep game now is just grab a sword. Where's that animated sword? Let's go for our best animated sword. Animated sword. Where's it? Animations, animated sword, sword animations. Adventurer. I want to say adventurer. Sword is the one that has that coded procedural animation in it. I think this is right. We'll see. I think this has the procedural animation in it. Yeah, I think this is right. Yep, cool. Alright, got the right sword. Alright, but as you can see, with rarely, like barely, any time here, I was essentially able to create an object-oriented game here, like a sleep game, where you have to jump on these blocks, and if you incorrectly jump on a block here, you would pass away. And I think that's, that's kind of the whole goal here, guys, is that's the whole thing with object-oriented programming, and what makes it so fantastic is just your ability to do exactly what I just did, except for this modeling part here. I'm clearly not doing that well. Let's see. I'm in here. Hold on, let me ungroup this. See, let's grab these guys here. Oh, come on. Here, we'll just duplicate this. Boom. Boom. And boom. Cool. Alright, now we'll make this all one. You can like traverse it. Cool. And then drag this back a little bit. Drag this back a little bit. Oh, wait, hold on. I want these to be independent. Boom. Okay. Now we'll make this all one. Group. Boom. And duplicates. And duplicates. And duplicates. Here and duplicates and duplicates. Boom. There you have it, folks. Spleef. Just like that. Hopefully I didn't make any errors, but let's go ahead and see this code in action now. So I'm going to go ahead and load in. I think this is the right sword. Let's see. Yeah, it looks right. I'm pretty sure that does damage. But yeah, as you see now, I jump on these blocks here. Whoa, that was really fast. That was way faster than I thought, but that was a great example of the fast fade block, and then this green one should theoretically be way slower. Yes, it is. Much slower. Well, yeah, I'm terrible at sleep. But you guys get the idea, right? And again, object-oriented programming. Oh, I don't like the fade speed. That was way too fast. Dry. I didn't repeat myself. I changed this one time. Let's go ahead and play now, see if it's more optimized, right? And this is what makes it great. And reality speaking, you would have all of this stuff like in a config file somewhere. As you can see, that's much cleaner, looks much better. So here is the setup, guys. This is the magic, this is the sauce. So let me know if you guys have any questions on this video. This is how you can use collection service and have total object-oriented programming in your game. I will see you all in the next one. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments.